Hi, my name is Christine. I have had the Fluval Chi for about 8 months now, and I love it.
The Fluval Chi is perfect for one betta or a few smaller fish, but you don't want to overstock this tank. I purchased it solely as a brackish water shrimp tank, so I've got about 40 Opaula shrimp and 3 PPP snails inside. You probably won't be able to see them all because they like hiding away in the plants or on the lava rock, and I don't know why, but the camera really picks up on the reflection of the light in the tank. It does not look like that in person. As you can see, I've made some modifications to this tank to better fit my needs and the needs of my shrimp. So I'm going to talk about a few complaints I heard about the Chi, why I chose it amidst these complaints, and the modifications I made. There have been a lot of complaints about the filter not being strong enough, and I really have to stress the fact that the Fluval Chi was built mainly for aesthetics, so you're going to lose some of the utility that normal tanks provide. Knowing this, I purchased the Chi knowing full well that the filter may not live up to my expectations. However, I actually needed a weaker filter because shrimp don't produce a lot of biowaste and they don't like a lot of current, if at all, so it was perfect for my needs. The only concern I had with the filter before purchasing it was that it was situated at the very top of the tank, which would make it a lot harder to pick up the stuff from the bottom. After buying it though, I've never had any issues with cloudiness except for the first time I set up the tank and after I do water changes, but the water usually clears up in about an hour or two. I read a review on the Chi from T. Sessoms on Amazon before I bought it, and he's got really helpful information about its upkeep, especially about the filter. I've actually never replaced the filters in the Chi, but sometimes when it gets too clogged up or it's picked up some air, it'll make a really loud gurgling noise. This actually happened the other day, and it's pretty easy to fix. When it happens, it just needs some cleaning. And usually what I do is I'll take out the filters and rinse them in water change water or plain old bottled water, and I make sure that there's still some brown goop left because that's the good bacteria that's beneficial to your tank. The only modification that I made to the filter is cutting out small pieces of a fine sponge filter and closing up the openings. I had a couple of casualties to the filter because my shrimp were small enough to fit in the openings, but if you have fish, you shouldn't have to do this unless you plan on having fry because the openings are really tiny. There have also been a lot of complaints about the light not being strong enough. During the daytime it looks more like a glow, but you can definitely see the contents of the tank at night. I used to be able to just push the lever and touch the magnetic part of the light switch and it would stay on, but after about 2 months it started getting dimmer and dimmer to the point where I actually have to lock it in to get it to turn on. This is a huge inconvenience if you don't want to get your hands wet. The light was also too dim for me to grow algae for my shrimp to eat. So, I installed some LED lights to the lid, which makes the tank look much brighter. What's great about these new lights is that they're adjustable so I can dim them or brighten them as I please using a remote, and it can also change into different shades of red, blue, and green, which is nice when I want to change it up a bit. Evaporation used to be a huge issue for me. I had my tank sitting on an end table and I would have to refill it with 1 to 3 16-ounce bottles of water every day, which I didn't mind because if I was going to spend this much on a tank, I might as well take care of it. Well, I finally figured out why my tank was losing so much water. It was these guys. They had been taking turns drinking from the top of the fountain, so if you're going to purchase the Fluval Chi, keep it somewhere your pets can't reach it. I now have it on this stand right next to the TV, which is out of reach for my dogs and so inconvenient for my cat to get to that he chooses the water fountain in the kitchen instead. So after solving this issue, I really only have to fill it up with a 16-ounce bottle once every few days. The Fluval Chi comes with a box that you can put a plant in and fill up with any substrate you like. Fluval sells different types of plants for this box and they look really nice, but they're really expensive. So when I first got the tank, I just went out to PetSmart and purchased a really cheap 99-cent plastic plant for my tank and filled that box up with some small rocks. And then around that I have black sand substrate. But then I started to notice that the number of shrimp I had were dwindling. Out of the 40 or so that I started with, I could only see 2. So I checked the filter, but by this time I'd already closed up all the openings, so it was unlikely that I lost all my shrimp to that. I thought they might be in the rocks in the plant box because they like to hide, so I pulled out all the rocks and the plant, but they weren't in there. But when I did this, I noticed that at the bottom of the box there were little tiny square holes. I pulled up the box, which was attached to the bottom of the tank, with a suction cup, and all of my shrimp swam out. They were trapped in there between the sand and the rocks, and they couldn't get out. So I removed the plant box and went all out on plants and decorations instead. If you have fish, this probably will not be a problem for you. The Chi also comes with a clear glass pebble basket that you can fill up with rocks and put on the top of the filter. I didn't like the way it looked, so I threw that away and put the rocks on top of the filter itself. It's much quieter this way, and I think it looks better too.
So overall, I think that the Fluval Chi is a great tank for shrimp or for a limited amount of small fish. If you have any questions, please comment below, and if you enjoyed watching my video, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching!